I'm Jen. When I first met Aaron, Allie, and Joe, and Rebecca, and Sarah, and Logan, they were just hanging out, playing pool with us, and it was just like, oh, there's these people. When I first met them, I was in a really dark place. I turned God away as hardcore as you can. I was partying, I was drinking, I was smoking, I just hung out with that group of people. I realized that the people that I had surrounded myself with were not good people. I didn't like that I was doing some of those things I said I'd never do. So I tried to take away all those bad people in my life during December. I kind of felt weird because I was changing so much in my life. I took out a lot of people that were bad influences on me. So then spring semester came around and it was just, I didn't know what to do with my life at that point, so I went to the first Nav night. The sermon was about lost people and how when you join Navs, it's to bring people to Christ that are lost. And that's when I realized that I was lost and I needed somebody to help me. So I started hanging out with Allie more regularly. We went to coffee shops. She shared the bridge with me. At first I was like, oh, this girl wants to share the gospel with me. And I was like, okay.
Jen was the one that I was the most like, does she know the gospel about? And I took her to my favorite coffee shop in Fort Collins, did that bit where you were like, hey, I'm practicing this illustration for a thing. Can I practice it on you? And she was just like, yeah, like whatever. And so I did the bridge for her in this coffee shop and I was nervous and shaking and like, I'm pretty sure I skipped parts of it. I was pretty just like, I hope this makes sense to her, and we just had a really cool conversation after it. And just, yeah, I think the coolest thing about sharing the bridge with someone that you're friends with, that you've built a friendship with, is like you realize how much it matters and how much you genuinely care that they are like gaining that information.
After this, I started meeting up with Allie regularly. She started reading the Bible with me, started doing all these things with me, and I was like, okay, I could kind of open my heart up back to Christ. And so at this point, I just felt really drawn to go to the spring break trip. I went on a spring break trip. Halfway through the trip, we were on a beach doing worship, and this girl pulled me aside and she was like, are you okay? And I was like, no, I'm not. And she just sat down with me and prayed for me. Looking back on that night, I know that was the night I gave my life to Christ. And ever since then, I've just been eager to learn about God. And now I'm on leadership for Navs at CSU, and I'm going into the dorms playing games with freshmen now. And just looking back on my story, I did a complete 360, and I'm so thankful that God put those three people in my life because I don't know where I'd be without them.
So what is EDM? EDM stands for Evangelism, Discipleship, and Missions Mobilization. And essentially our goal going into these EDM nights was to encompass those three aspects into playing games with freshmen in the dorms. And just really having the goal of making friends with freshmen and getting to share our story throughout the whole year. So that's what we got to do.
Yeah, and so practically what that looked like was there were four of us three, and our friend Logan, and we went in every week for a few hours and just pulled out a board game or a card game, and we would just ask strangers to join us, people going to dinner, from dinner to their dorm, mainly freshmen, and yeah, in a dorm lobby. And we would get people who would sit down with us and like maybe play around and they'd leave, or we'd get people who would stay a whole night and we'd get their phone numbers and try to get them to come back. And sometimes they did, sometimes they didn't. So it was kind of a long start. But it was just like doing a game night practically with like missions in mind. And it's true, like I do anything but kind of show up, and God's the one who pulled Jen along and pulled her heart towards him. You never know who it's gonna be. Like you never know which person walking by is gonna be like, oh yeah, like I'll be your friend. Or another guy we met, he was literally like just walking away and we were like, hey, come play a game with us, and he said yes and came every week from across campus. You just never know, and it's way more valuable to ask and to be rejected than to not ask and miss out on that one person who is like, man, I wish I had friends tonight. There's plenty of that in the dorms, so you should trust that trust that the harvest is genuinely plentiful, and yeah, like people aren't in the dorms, but there's a lot of brokenness there, so there's a lot of need.